Lisa Schnebly Heidinger is celebrating Arizona with lots of interesting people, so you'll hear wonderful voices with new stories. Grab your favorite drink and settle in. We're celebrating Arizona, going everywhere from A to Z, and we're off.
Welcome to Celebrating Arizona. We are celebrating indeed today. Some of you were here the last time Greg McNamee was here, some were not. Greg, I'm so happy you're back. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, wonderful. And this is a double scoop of wonderful A things. We have an Arizona author who's going to talk about Arizona authors. So that's a foray. A foray into Arizona writing. Let's start. Tell us where we're starting.
Well, a bit of context first, and that is that in
Hmm.
2015, your guest, Tom Zellner, invited me to be on a panel at Changing Hands bookstore. Uh, and it was surrounding the issue of where is the great Arizona novel? And Tom maintained that there was no such thing. And I said, well, there are plenty of great Arizona novels, maybe not the great Arizona novel, but plenty that are that qualify. And so I drew up a list, and I've gone through the list and culled a few things for our purposes here, but also added a few nonfiction titles to it. So I'm going to say great Arizona books.
Oh,
Great Arizona books by great
okay.
Arizona writers.
So that was the genesis of this conversation.
That's right. Yeah. And a long time ago. So I've been thinking about this way too long. So
Or just exactly long enough. We don't know. You know, I'm surprised by him because I think there are tons of amazing Arizona books. But I guess it doesn't matter what Tom Zollner and I think. Important thing is we are here to talk about some of your favorites.
And I'd like to start with Barbara Kingsolver, a former Tucsonan who now lives in my home state of Virginia. And as I believe you commented, once upon a time, we sort of exchanged hostages
I
there.
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
in any event, Barbara and I went to grad school together, and when I was down hanging out with the kids on Saturday night drinking beer by the pool in the grad student apartment complex, you could hear her typing away in her room, which was just on the second floor. Um, and I always say that explains the relative differences in our positions in the literary constellation. That's and probably the bank book as well. So, but
Well,
Barbara's.
that's
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's right. That's fun to me because the one time I saw her speak, she talked about clacking away on her typewriter, and it was to a group at the U of A probably 30 years ago, describing doing the Bean Tree's first book and then getting this massive check for whatever she wrote next and become paralyzed by the idea of, oh shoot, people are actually going to read that. And that she had written the first book because she was pregnant and couldn't sleep and tried to clean her house and didn't want to do that. So instead of doing that, she decided to drag her little rickety typewriter table counter into the walk in closet and write the book. And the fact that you have a Barbara Kingsolver typing story, and I think that's the only story I know of her, has a delicious symmetry to me right now. So, talk to us about what you read about her and what book and things like that.
Yeah, I'm on my list is her debut novel, which was published in 1988, called The Bean Trees. And of course, if you're a Tucsonan or an Arizonan or a Sonoran Desertonian, you know that the bean tree is the mesquite. so, uh, and it's a novel that follows a young woman from Kentucky named Taylor Greer who's just itching to get out of Kentucky. And she hits the road as soon as she can. Driving through Oklahoma, she is has an abused toddler thrust upon her, and she takes the toddler and moves it on out to moves her on out, a little girl named Turtle, and breaks down on the way to California. Breaks down in Tucson, and I think I know 10 people to whom that happened at one point or another. The engine threw a rod, the axle broke or something, and they stayed in Tucson. Uh, in any event,
Oh,
Taylor finds herself and Turtle in this wonderful new community of people of every background. There are Anglos and there are Native people and there are Latinos, and it's the great melting pot of Tucson. And there's some politics of immigration that are involved. Barbara's always been a political writer, but I am fond of the book, particularly for its loving descriptions of things in the desert. And I'll just read very quickly. This is her description of a monsoon storm. She said, she's
okay.
described the storm rolling in and the Virga rain, and then all of a sudden, actual waterfalls from the sky. That was when we smelled the rain. It was so strong it seemed like more than just a smell. When we stretched out our hands, we could practically feel it rising up from the ground. I don't know how a person could ever describe that scent. It certainly wasn't sour, but it wasn't sweet either, not like a flower. To my mind, it was like nothing so much as a wonderfully clean, scrubbed pine floor. And I think that's just right.
Interesting.
That wonderful, the word petrichor, right? The smell
I
of,
only because of you. Only because of you.
yeah,
I'd
it's
never heard it till you.
it's a wonderful word. It's what describes the smell of a desert rain.
That
Yeah,
is a great word. I
yeah.
think of a sweet astringency
Nice.
in a
Yeah,
monsoon.
yeah. I like that. And so,
Well, thank you.
I always thought of it as the plants just screaming, opening up and saying, please, please, please get some of that get
Yay!
some of that water in me. But actually, the petrichor is the stone and not it's the rocks and the soil of the desert that is, just
Oh,
releasing, just saying, come on, baby. So, Barbara Kingsolver's
okay.
The Bean Trees.
Wonderful, wonderful book. I still, my favorite of hers is still the Lacuna,
Uh-huh.
south of the border. But she's so good. She's so good. She doesn't
Yeah,
do anything except good.
I think that's right.
Um,
Yeah.
I, from where I'm sitting, Arizona won when you guys flipped.
That's so kind of you to say, but I don't
Oh,
believe it
it's
for a
so true.
moment.
It's true. My
Yeah,
podcast,
Barbara,
my words, my truth. My
there you
truth.
go. Yeah. Barbara and her husband have a little restaurant, kind of a natural organic food restaurant in a little town called Abingdon, Virginia, which is very close to the Tennessee border. And it's
Oh,
beautiful, beautiful country down there.
and you've been?
Yes, many times to through Abingdon, and they've got a Shakespeare festival, and they've got
Oh.
this fine restaurant. I've eaten there, but Barbara was in the closet typing when I was there. Or if she
That's
saw
our
me coming,
story, and we're sticking to it.
that's right. If she saw me coming, she went out the back door. So
Well, who's next on your list?
next on my list is Marguerite Noble. And Marguerite Noble wrote a novel that was published in 1979 called Fillory. And I think of it as another desert classic. Um, Marguerite Noble was born in Roosevelt, Arizona in 1910, and that's when the Roosevelt Dam is being built,
Oh, that's Roosevelt.
and all the
Okay.
subsidiary of it. She was a longtime resident of Payson. She dressed up like a pioneer schoolmarm, but one who would cut you down with a six-shooter just if you looked at her cross-eyed. She had a good salty way around her. She was very friendly to me, but you just wouldn't want to mess with her. And
Interesting.
Fillory is a weed that's hard to pull up, and it's a
And
perfect
I had
title.
to look it up
Yeah.
to see what her book was named for, and I found that fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, it's I mean, she's just she and her people, that would probably earn, you know, I'm not even going to say the nickname for them, but the people who are poor and live lives of really harsh reality. And at the center of the
Mm.
story of Marguerite's Fillory is a woman named Melissa Baker, based on her mother. She has 6 children, and the
Whoa.
story that unfolds challenges any kind of romantic stereotypes about what pioneer women are like, um, because
Okay.
it's just an unvarnished struggle. Every day
Mm.
is combat.
Mm.
They're surviving in places, when they pick up from Roosevelt, they're going to places like Sunflower, and uh, I don't know how it's pronounced these days, but back in those days it was pronounced Gysela,
Okay, I
Gis.
still say Geisela,
Okay,
but
good.
is it? Yeah, to me it's Geisela.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad because I never thought to ask until so I looked it
Okay.
up just a couple of days ago because I would have thought Gisela or Gazella or something, but
Oh,
well,
okay.
so that's a time when the rivers are being dammed up and there's money to be made, and the problem is that Melissa's husband drinks up whatever he's made.
Oh,
And
boy.
so, and pretty much leaves her to take care of the 6 kids by herself. Uh, or occasionally, she's got to roll into town and find him at the bar and roll him into the back of the buckboard and
Oh,
take him
jeez.
home to dry out. So it's an unflinching book, and it's based on her own
Yeah.
life. As a household run by an indomitable mother, um, and truly an unsung hero of that time. And it speaks volumes to how hard life could be out here for men,
Boy, no
children,
kidding.
women, everybody. It was a battle.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And women had to fight it on all those fronts, didn't they? This is
Yeah.
so way off track, but the incredible fierceness reminds me of a story I heard at Steve Meissner's memorial celebration.
Hmm.
And do you know anything about his mother?
I do not. Uh-uh.
She raised, I believe, 5 boys in the Bronx and was probably fillery tough.
Huh.
And one of his brothers said, of all of us, Steve was most like our mom. And all you need to know who she was, if she was annoyed because she thought you were trying to get sympathy, she said, look in the dictionary and you find sympathy between shit and something. And I never got to meet the woman, but if Steve Meisner was the most like her, that's a pretty tough example of humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But they had to
Yeah.
be, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lovely book. Well, Marguerite died, probably 15 years ago. Not enough people know about her, and not enough people know about her book. So I would really like to point people that way.
Okay.
My friend Tom Sheridan, I don't know if Tom's been on your program,
He has not.
Arizona historian.
Yeah.
He agrees with me on the importance of that book.
Okay. Well,
So
then let's remind people Fillory by
yes,
Marguerite Noble,
yeah.
and we would love them to read it. And Greg, in case I haven't said this too many times already, frequently when I give a speech about Arizona women, I say Arizona women are defined not by fragility but by ferocity.
Mm-hmm.
So she speaks to that.
Yeah, by Filariety.
Nice. Okay, who's next?
Well, speaking of tough people, my third book is The Devil's Highway by Luis Alberto Urrea, a 2004 nonfiction book that was about a real tragedy, 2001. And that was a group of migrants from Mexico, from
Oh
Veracruz,
dear.
were attempting to cross the Camino del Diablo, the Devil's Highway down in southwestern Arizona. And they were led by an inexperienced coyote or smuggler. And when they got into trouble, he abandoned the group of 26. And
Ooh.
14 of those 26 people died out in the desert.
Oh my
And the other 12
gosh.
barely escaped, and Urrea makes it clear in his narrative that, the group didn't cross the desert in 115, 120 degree heat on a whim. They were looking
Gee.
for work in agricultural fields over in Yuma and places like that, doing jobs that nobody else would want to do, and necessary work by good people. And Urea's story hinges on the human element of all this, the incompetence of the smuggler, the desperation of the immigrants for better lives, even the humanity of the Border Patrol agents who come to their
Really?
rescue. Yeah, so
I'm
it's
impressed with that.
it's a book that's very well worth reading. We continue to talk about immigration. I have my own views on the matter, and they diverge sharply from some of the prevailing views at the of the time. But I'm going to say too, extra credit reading would be Francisco Cantu, his book The Line Becomes a River. That's published in 2018, and it's a Tucsonan. He's a former Border Patrol agent himself, with a very deep sense of empathy for the people that who cross the line in search of better lives. The huddled
Oh,
masses yearning to be free.
brand new name to me. I've never heard of him. Cantu?
Yes, yeah, wonderful writer. Yeah, wonderful writer and a very nice man.
Okay, I want to take a very quick break, but then I want to come back to that.
As the podcast partner of AZ250, celebrating our state during this 250th birthday year, it's so appropriate that in a show where an Arizona author talks about Arizona authors, we feature Read 250. This is to encourage readers of all ages to either read 25 books or read for 250 minutes. Check with your local public library to learn more about how to involve yourself, or your class, or your children. Reading makes us all richer.
So we're back, but Greg, you already have a full list. Would you prefer to put a pin in the Cantu work?
Yes, as I say, it's just extra credit reading. It certainly is a very well written book, a very smart book. But Luis's book is the one to go to first. There.
Understood. Devil's Highway. Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, there is surely an impressive retinue of work about border books. Maybe that
Yes.
should come back there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. And stop calling me Shirley.
I can't believe I
To,
still find that funny.
to
Now, Luis, what else has he done? He's done a lot.
Well, he's written in lots of different genres. He's written books of poetry. He's written books of nonfiction, novels like The Hummingbird's Daughter, which is
Yeah.
probably what he's best known for.
And I think he became Arizona's poet laureate.
Did he?
I
Maybe
believe
at
he
one
did.
point. He hasn't lived in Arizona for about 30 odd years. He and I
Hmm.
actually co-edited an anthology of folklore and essays and stories about turtles, because we're both turtle heads. Yeah,
Really?
we both love turtles, and so
I did not know that about either one of you.
yeah.
Just give me
Well,
one more sentence on why.
why turtles or why?
Yeah, why turtles?
Oh, it seemed at the time, there was a lot in the news about the decline of turtle Chelonian populations all over the world for various reasons. It's when we first
Oh.
started talking about climate change, and with much general consideration of that issue. So that was kind of
Okay.
the inspiration, and also we love turtles.
All right. Then you don't need to just justify it to me. I was just interested in
Yeah, well,
what captivated you so.
it's a book that rather amazingly it's still in print
Don't say that.
in an odd way. So yeah, so so come to my website, gregorymcnamee.com, and buy 20 copies, please, people.
And tell me the title again.
It's called A World of Turtles.
A World of Turtles.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to do it, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, she was actually listening. She was only rolling her eyes and looking off as if she weren't listening. Who's next?
I am going to go to a wonderful, wonderful friend from many years past who's been gone for a few years now, Bird Baylor. And Bird was best known for children's books. But
Wasn't she Aravaka?
yes,
Yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
think Greg, when I was a cub reporter at the Green Valley News, I covered her at the Arivaca School.
Oh,
And
great.
she did a brilliant, amazing exercise to teach students how to write a poem that basically, and I've used it ever since, basically picture the person and describe a couple of certain things, and it's still a wonderful poetry exercise. But I will put a pin in that because you're going to talk about one of her books. Go
Her
ahead.
book is called Yes is Better Than No, and this is this the stars of this story are people who have always been here, or at least have always been here for as long as there have been people here, and those are the Aadam, the people, right?
Okay.
So up in your neck of the woods, you've got the Akimel Aadam, the people of the flowing water, or Pima, as they used to be called. And down here in Tucson, we have the Tohono O'odham, the desert people. Um, and Yes is
Got
Better
it.
Than No is published in 1972, and it's a story that centers on urban O'odham people. They live in a beat up, run down Tucson neighborhood, out on the southwest side. Um, and they're barely getting by. They're outsiders in their own land. And one of them, Mrs. Domingo, wins a swimming pool in a contest.
Wow.
The problem is they don't have any running water, and so
Oh
so they
no.
put in the pool. The contractors put in the pool, and Mrs. Domingo puts a ramada over it, and it's another bedroom for their little house. Well, everybody in the neighborhood wants something different out of that thing. They take it as communal, and do they haul water in? Do they, we would like a pool, and anthropologists and bureaucrats begin to come around, because this is an interesting problem in, social interaction. And here's where the title comes in. When the Tohono O'odham know that when anthropologists and bureaucrats come around, it's always better to say yes than no. Tell them what they want, whether you mean it or not. The easiest way, and I think we
Interesting.
all know this, the easiest way to break rules is to pretend that you're following them. Um,
I've
and,
never heard that,
and
but
that's,
I'm fascinated.
yeah, well, it's a good lesson for us all. It's what got me through high school, essentially. I went, it was just, pretend that you're, enjoying class, read whatever you want to read under your desk, but, pretend that you're paying attention. And
Oh,
so, yes is better than no.
I was way too regimented. I didn't need that rule enough. Good for you.
Well, yes, it's better than no. It pokes fun at everybody, and it's a lovely book. It's a lot of fun to read.
Excellent. She was as I remember her, a very wiry, spry desert creature. Nut
Yes,
brown and long silvery hair and
yeah,
neat woman.
yeah, and I suppose it's not unkind, or it's certainly not unfair or inaccurate to say she was always stoned. She loved she loved pot.
That's funny. Didn't know that when I was covering her speech. It was very good.
Yeah, yeah, no,
That's
she just
cute.
had a lovely way around about her. She was just a beautiful beautiful person.
I would agree with that. Okay, we're going to get to do this twice because we've got about 5 more minutes. Who is next on the list?
Okay, well, 5 minutes. Let's go with Crazy Weather. It's a book by a man named Charles McNichols. Charles McNichols grew up on Fort Mojave on the Colorado
Oh
River.
wow.
And I once asked David Laird, who is the librarian of the University of Arizona and an expert on Southwestern literature, I asked him, has there ever been a good novel written about, that part of the world, up between, Parker and Bullhead City, let's say, or, Lake Mead or whatever. It's kind of a forgotten corner of Arizona.
Yeah.
And he said, yes, Crazy Weather. So I hunted it up. It was
Oh.
not easy to find. It was a Book of the Month Club selection when it was published in 1944, and then
Oh my gosh.
it immediately disappeared. And
Okay.
over the years, I think I've got about 5 copies of it because every time I
Really?
see it, I just grab one. So
Oh.
Charles McNichols, it's a story that it opens up in the heat of summer, I mean, and it's fantastically hot over in that part of the world. It's often clocks
Oh,
the highest
yeah.
temperatures in the summertime. It's not that far from Death Valley. And
Yeah.
it opens up in the heat of the summer with a 14-year-old named South Boy. He's a white teenager, but he's called South Boy because he comes from Yuma, and he's up on the Fort Mojave reservation. His
Oh.
father has bought a cattle ranch out there and runs a cattle ranch, but his father has gone to California on business. His mother is recovering from an unspecified illness in a sanitarium in San Diego,
Ooh.
and she
Ooh.
wants him to go to what she calls a civilized boarding school. And his father wants him to go and work on the ranch, and he doesn't want any part of any of that. And so he takes off when the crazy weather arrives. And that crazy weather, it's that oppressive, humid heat that you get in the Colorado River Valley. McNichols writes of it this way: the heat was a physical weight, a presence that blurred the lines between what South Boy was told he should be and what the desert told him he was.
Wow.
And so the desert,
And this is in the 40s.
yes, yeah,
That's some fresh writing for the 40s. Go ahead.
it is a remarkably sensitive book about Native people because South Boy, the desert or some other voice tells him to run away. And he runs off with a Mojave friend, a boy named Havik, and they travel across that bleak desert looking for an enemy to kill because that's how Mojave become men. Mojave boys become men
Oh,
on war parties. They go on a dream quest, and they earn their adult names by killing an enemy. And so after 4 days of surviving the elements and running into all kinds of weird people out there, one of the characters is the Mormon hater, and and who well deserves his name. Finally they endure this fierce monsoon storm. We'll kind of circle around where we began with Barbara Kingolver and the monsoon. They they hit a fierce storm. It breaks the weather, and at that point, South Boy realizes, "Hey, I'm not a Mojave. I'm really not cut out for killing anybody." And he goes
Ah.
back to his father's ranch, and in that process, takes his first step to becoming a man in his world. So it's a
Oh.
lovely, lovely book. It was originally marketed as juvenile fiction, but it's
Whoa.
widely regarded as by critics, including the late great Ursula Le Guin, as
Ooh.
a really sophisticated exploration of cross-cultural complexity, and it makes for great
Wow.
reading. I forced it on Tom Zellner. We mentioned him earlier, and although he probably would not say it's the great Arizona novel, he certainly did come away enjoying it, I believe.
Oh, terrific. Well, I love the concept, and I must find it. I must find it. Have you checked Alibris recently? Because if you have, then you've already bought it. But if you
Well, I
haven't, I'll
was going to
check
say,
Alibris.
if you haven't, I'll find a copy and send it to you.
Or that, or that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I can't let you go without saying yes, we're going to come back and do the other five. Is
Yes.
that all right with you? Okay.
Absolutely so. Yeah.
Marvelous. Marvelous. One of my favorite people, Greg McNamee. You are, you are, you are. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, Lisa. It's always a pleasure to be here, and thank you for everything. Thank you, Tom, back there at the controls.
Wonderful.
We'd really like to hear from you about anything this show led you to think about. Write to us at celebratingaz.com. The wizard behind making a conversation into a podcast is Tom Heidinger. The music comes from Daniel Blatney, and I'm Dana Cooper.